Happy Wednesday, 86 degrees, and it is 9:34, and I'm in a hurry. I almost called the husband right now by mistake. I was like, oh shoot, wait. I'm not trying to call him, I'm trying to record. But that's how much in a hurry that I am. Oh. It's a good thing that I put my shade because it was really hot today. And then it got windy, and I thought it was gonna rain. We have chances of rain in our forecast, but I guess not, you know? And things have been pretty calm here, except for last night. My neighbors next door, not apartment next to me. I was almost gonna say the number. The apartment behind me where my bedroom is. And by the way, yesterday I felt so tired. I'll get to that in a minute. But they were like yelling last night. I don't think they were fighting. They were just being really loud. I think they were high. Honestly, I really do. But they were yelling. And this was after midnight. And mind you, I was ready to go to sleep, but I couldn't because of them. And then I finally fell asleep, woke up this morning, and there was still a ruckus going on. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm checking very carefully. I saw some people coming out. Okay, they went the other way. She left, but she went the other way. Hopefully they don't break the gate over there, because the landlady doesn't really like us to use that back gate. She prefers we use this front one. There's one to go in and out, but I don't care. I mean, I use the front one anyway. So anyhow, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this morning I woke up and they were still like yelling and everything. But then in my bathroom, I can hear a lot more clearer. I don't know what it is about the bathrooms and the apartments with me. Because of the last apartment that I lived in, that we lived in, same thing. You know, whenever the couple downstairs would argue, I could hear every word clearly in the bathroom. So they were yelling at their son, at their child, at their toddler. He's like 3 or 4 years old. And they were yelling at him and telling him, behave! Like that, like really loud. And I was like, what the hell? And it was kind of shocking to me because he never misbehaves. Like, he's just a baby, you know? Like, they're always walking with him outside. You know, and the dad, though, I cannot stand the dad. And he was walking, one time he was walking, and I saw it on my Ring cam. He left the little boy way behind. The dad had already turned the corner, and the little boy was still walking. And he just told the little boy, hurry up. And I was like, what the hell, you know? He's a sweet little boy, very handsome too. But these parents, you know, and I don't mean to be judgy, but I'm gonna, because I think that neither one of them work in the first place. The mom, grandma, just moved in. You know, that's the one that lives on the other corner that they kept coming through my car. The other brother just moved in with the dad. They all live in separate apartments, mind you. The dad and the mom do not live together. And I think that Grandpa does work. He leaves. He comes and he leaves, you know. But both sons, neither one of them work. And I think that they may be doing like a pharmacy outside their apartment, if you know what I mean. The pharmaceuticals. that's the way they pay for the apartments. And listen, it wouldn't bother me so much if they weren't so scandalous. You know what I mean? But it kind of does bother me because, you know, we're struggling, and to have other people doing that on the side, you know, not even having an actual job and being able to live in the place that they live in, you know, that's what bothers me. But that's not either here or there. I was doing some reflecting today while I was cleaning, and I don't even know where to start, to be honest. First, let me get some hand cream. Okay, so there was a video that I saw yesterday that somebody put out that I follow, and if you listen to my videos, I think you do. And I think that when I was talking about the YouTubers on that video where I said, where does your money go? I wasn't talking about you. Like, I just want to let you know that, because I have respect for you and your husband. You two do something on the side. You've mentioned it before. You have your businesses on the side. You live in a very nice home, but, you know, and you have your other little things on the side that you do with your videos and stuff. But you all never, ever ask for money. Yes, you may offer these other things going on in other videos, other channels that you all have, but you all never ask for money. That's the difference between you all and the ones that I was talking about, because honestly, the ones I was talking about aren't really giving back to their society. They're not offering any advice. They're not bringing any current events. They're not talking about anything useful other than themselves. You know, or crime, which you can do your own research and get that information yourself. That's what I meant by the whole thing. But you all are good, you know, like, I really respect you all. I hold you both on a pedestal, and I hope that's not too much of me saying that, but you all are great. But it was one of your videos that I saw, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where you were talking about how you were out with your husband, and you guys were talking, and you were looking around, and you saw other couples, you know, that weren't even talking. There were some couples that were just staring at each other, or just staring off into space while eating, and there was no conversation, and you thought that was weird. And that's what I wanted to talk about. And I'm not addressing you. I'm just going to talk about it in my experience. It's weird that she brought that up, though, you all, because that is something that I was already thinking about, and that's been on my mind. And I was talking to ChatGPT about it, but of course, it's never helpful. And I was just saying how that is my husband and I. And I was saying that we don't really have, I don't even know how to say this nicely. And you know, when I say things about my husband and I and my relationship, I'm not good at expressing myself or explaining myself, rather. So please don't be like, well, make up your mind. Are you happy or not in your relationship? I have my ups and downs in my relationship. The husband and I have been through a lot. And there were a lot of things that I haven't even discussed because I'm not ready, or I just don't want to. But here's the thing. And it's not that we've been together so long that it doesn't exist anymore. but we don't have a connection. And I've realized that, no, I didn't really realize, I'm just using that word, just go with me. That is what I'm missing out in my life right now, is connection. Because I spend so much time inside this apartment of mine, just cleaning, paying bills online, having to budget, working on our budget, you know, making sure that I'm keeping up with the payments. Stuff that does not involve any outlet or any relaxation or clearing my mind or resetting. And I don't have any best friends that I talk to. Before, when the neighbor, you all know what neighbor I was talking about, she's already moved out officially. When she would stop by, it would be great, but then it wouldn't, because I felt like the dumpster whenever she would come by. Because she would just come by, she would start talking to me, and she had a list of complaints about her job, about the landlady, about hating to live where we live, about that other neighbor, this neighbor over here, about, you know, other friends from work and what have you. It was just complaint. And I'm just like, okay. And by the time she would leave, I'd be like, wow. And it was constant interruption. Anytime I would try to say anything, she would interrupt me. And anytime I would try to give her some advice or feedback, she would interrupt me. Anytime I wanted to talk about me, she would interrupt me. And it was very annoying to me, you know? And I'm like, okay, this is not the connection that I'm seeking. And then with my friend from church, we can connect to a certain point because we have our church in common. But lately she's been like bringing up old stuff, like and old comments, like, oh, you're so lucky that you have a boyfriend. She refuses to call him my husband because in her eyes we are not married. Even if it's just by common law, we are not married. So she's going to call him my boyfriend, and that is her choice, you know. And I think it's kind of disrespectful to me if you ask me, but whatever. And she's starting to bring that crap up again. Oh, you're so lucky. And does he help you out with your son? Oh, well, that is great. That you're so lucky. And I'm just like, what? You know, and I feel like the way she's saying it, it's not really coming from a good place. It's sarcasm, you know. And then she goes on to say, like, out of nowhere, and she's done this before. And I'm starting to wonder, like, okay, does she not like the way I dress? What is her deal? You know, because I've spoken about the way she dresses in my videos. I finally let that go. I don't even mention it anymore, and I haven't, you know? But she's always asking me, where do you shop? And I said, I don't. What do you mean you don't? You don't shop? And I'm like, no, and if I do look for something, it'll be online. What? What the hell? What did I just say that was wrong? What's so shocking about shopping online? You know, like, where's this coming from, you know? And then I said, yeah. I said, once in a great while, if I see something that I like somewhere, I'll get it there. But otherwise, I just shop online. I said, and I know it's not the best idea because sometimes the clothes doesn't fit me or it wasn't the style that I thought I wanted, and I have to go back and return it. You know, but most of the time, you know, it works out, you know. And also, I was a little bit too embarrassed to say, and I don't shop much because I don't really have the funds to shop much right now. You know, I'll shop when I can. You know, the last time that I shopped, I went to Kohl's to pick up a gift for Mother's Day for my mother-in-law, and I just happened to see these 3 little blouses there, and they were $19.99 each, so I got 3, the 3 of them. When I find a good deal, I will get something. And it doesn't even have to be Kohl's. It can be at the Walmart. It can be at Target. You know, whatever I see and whatever is on sale that's within my budget. You know? And, I mean, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, I highly doubt that the church is checking the price tags on my clothes. Like she is. And I don't know what her trip is with that now, you know? And not only that, but she also keeps bringing up on how she went to college and she has a degree. Did she say a degree? Yeah, I think she said a degree. She got her degree in college. And I'm like, well, what is it exactly that you do? Data entry. You got your degree in data entry. Yes. Which, did you go to the university? Or yes, I went to the local community college. Okay, well, that's great, you know. And she told me the course that it's called and everything. I think it was called some kind of office management, medical office management. I would have to look it up and let you know for sure what it's called. And look, I'm not putting it down that she went to the community college. It's a college now, but back then when she went, it was a community college. And I'm not doubting it. I started there. That's where I went too. And then as it became a university, I started to go there too to get my nursing degree, you know, which I couldn't even finish. Thank you very much. But anyhow, here's the thing though. I feel like there's a lot of comparison going on lately with me and her. And I'm not sure what she's trying to get at. But all I know is that, again, that is not the connection that I'm seeking. You know? And so, now to the husband. We don't really connect throughout the day. It's kind of like I wake up in the morning and I tell him, hey, I'm up already, you know, and he's like, oh, that's good. Like, where's the cat? You know, where's Tabby? And I'm like, oh, she's in the living room, you know, and he's like, did she sleep with you? And it's the same questions every day, mind you. Did she sleep with you? Yes, but then she left me like around midnight or 2 in the morning when I got up to pee or whatever, you know, whatever time I get up to pee, she left me. He's like, oh, okay. And then he'll start telling me, well, I'm over here in Kansas and I'm on my way over here to Nebraska, whatever, you know. He'll give me his schedule and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'll be like, well, how's the weather over there? And he's like, oh, well, it finally stopped raining, but it's a little windy now and I'm just glad it stopped raining. And I gotta be over here by this certain time. And he's giving me his itinerary as if I am dispatch and I am checking where he's at. And what is his estimated time of arrival, his ETA, you know? And I'm just like, okay. And he's like, well, go make something to eat and then and call me later. And I'm like, all right. And that's exactly what I do. I get out of bed, I wash up, I start moving around in the kitchen, making coffee, deciding what I'm going to make my son and I to eat, and start to plan out, like, okay, what am I going to make for lunch, dinner also before he goes into work, you know. Fortunately, he was off yesterday, and he treated me to DoorDash because like I said yesterday, and I didn't even get to finish telling you all, I woke up not feeling very well. I had a massive migraine, and I was just like, I cannot do today. That's how come I didn't start cleaning since yesterday. And I made breakfast and everything, and it came out really good, but I had to go lay down afterwards. And then I had to force myself to get up, take a shower, hoping that I will feel better, even after I took, some aspirin and all, which didn't help. And I don't know why I didn't take an Excedrin, but I went back to lay down again. And then my son comes in the room and he's like, what's for dinner? And I said, I don't know. I said, I'm thinking about making this, and I just don't feel well right now, but I'll get started in a little bit. And he's like, well, I can DoorDash us something. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And so we ordered like a baked potato with, it's some kind of special secret menu item, So he ordered that for me. And it was really good. And then I managed to get a little bit better after I ate. And of course, then I did my exercises and all that and took another shower and then just went to bed, tried to go to bed. But the neighbors were yelling over there, so. But anyhow, that was really nice of him to do. And that helped me out a bit, for yesterday. But okay, I'll go back to the husband now, and I didn't even get to tell him about that, because anytime the husband and I talk, it's always him giving me information about where he's at. I'm in this state now. Okay. Well, we'll be careful, All right, well, I'll call you later. Bye. Love you. Bye. And we hang up. And the conversations are that quick. It's not even a conversation. It's just a check-in. And that's the way it is throughout the whole day until finally, he stops for the day and he'll call me to tell him, okay, okay, I've already stopped for the day. I'm going to go get something to eat. All right, well, be careful. All right, I'll call you back later. Okay, love you. Love you too. Bye. Click, Meantime, I'll keep doing my exercises. I'll take a shower. He calls me again. I'm going to bed already. I have to get up at 3. And I'm like, well, all right. Well, sweet dreams, And he's like, well, you too. And make sure you text me when you get home. All right. Love you. Love you too. Bye. That is the extent of our communication per day. I finally got to ask him something today that I had been wanting to ask him since 2-3 weeks ago, because he never gives me a chance. The communication is so quick that I don't even get a chance to ask something, And today, when he called, I was just getting out of the shower, and I called him back, and he's like, well, I gotta go because I gotta go to bed. I have to get up at 3, yada, yada, yada. So text me when you get home. Have a good night. Love you. Bye. Click. We hang up, and I'm like, wait a minute. I finally got to remember what I wanted to ask. So I called him back and I said, hey. I said, you always hang up with me so quickly. I said, I've been wanting to ask you this for weeks already. And he's like, what? And so I finally asked him, and he's like, oh, I don't know. And it was something about his sister. Well, one of the sisters, because he has 2. And he's like, I don't know, I guess she did, And the question was, in case y'all are curious, it was nothing big, but it was like, did she go to college? Because last time that we talked, she said that she went to college. And I'm like, this is the first that she's ever mentioned it. I've been with her brother for 14, 15 years now. And this is the first time you ever mentioned to me that you went to college. When did this happen? Was I in a coma? When? When I'm like, all right. And apparently she said she went to this local college. Because when I asked the husband about it, like, hey, did your sister go to college? Oh, I don't know. I was like, well, it's because she brought that up. And I'm like, when, she's never brought that up before. And he's like, well, I guess maybe in California, because he lived in California for a while. And I said, no, she said it was a local college here. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I must have been out of town though at those times. We didn't really like communicate very much then. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, good night. And he's like, good night. And I'm like, man. But there's no connection. And that's exactly what I was talking to ChatGPT there. I was like, we don't have a connection. And that's really sad to me, because even when he comes into town, he'll be in the living room and I'll be in, and I call it my room. It's our room, but I call it my room because that's where I'm at by myself all the time. I'll be in the room alone. He'll be in the living room alone. And we don't really get together unless we're hungry. And we're like, what are we going to make for dinner? Or what do you want for dinner? Okay, well, let me get started, you know, type of thing. Or we'll go pick something up, you know, but it's never, well, hey, so what have you been up to? What have you thought about? Have you thought any more about this? I know you mentioned last time that I was here, you wanted to get started on something like this. Have you started it? What can we do to get you started? You know, nothing. And when we go out to eat, we talk very little. It's more like, oh, are you going to get this? Are you going to get what you usually get? Yeah, I think so. So what are you going to get for a drink? You want a drink? You want a cocktail? Are you going to get the usual, or do you want to try something different? Look, let me see. Let me look at the menu. Here, look at all these drinks that are different right here. And he's trying to sell me on a drink, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to get the usual, you know? And he's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, you really like those anyway. And I'm like, okay, drop it already. I'm just like, drop it, you know? And I want to yell at him. But I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like, I feel like weird at that point, you know? And then he'll be there telling me, like, oh, I'm not sure what I'm going to get. And blah, 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 blah. And finally they come and they take our order. And while we're waiting, he'll ask about the cat again. He'll ask about something about church, you know, like, well, how did it go this time? Or I'll bring something up and we'll talk about that for a little bit, but very little. And then they bring the food and we'll start eating, and he'll be like, that's really good, right? It's really good. You like that? You like that? You always get that. You like that, right? And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, is yours okay? And he's like, yeah, I really like this. I really like to eat this because it's soft, you know, and I really like to eat this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking around and I'm seeing other couples around us, and other couples are like, really, they're laughing, they're eating, they're laughing, they're looking at each other's phones, you know, together. And I guess they're showing each other jokes or something. I don't know. And they're just really into their conversations. And then, of course, I spot the couple that's just sitting there like they're just waiting to finish eating so they can leave. They're so unhappy being there together. They're so unhappy being there. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to be that couple. And I've told them this before also. I said, you know, I don't want to be that couple. I don't want to be that age and have nothing to talk about. I don't want to look miserable. I don't care if we have to fake it till we make it. But I don't want to look miserable. Oh, we won't. But I'm like, we're there already, buddy. You know? So my question and my title for this video is, where can I meet you? Because I'm asking him, I'm asking anybody, where can I meet you where we can connect? Actually connect. Not about my clothes, not about my education, not about how lucky I am in being in a relationship, but where can we connect? Thank you all for listening. I love you all, and I will talk to you again soon.